During his shift, the factory worker suddenly spotted a flash of blue under the machinery in his workspace. There, hidden in the shadows of danger, a terrified little girl with a barcode tattoo on her wrist revealed a nightmare of human trafficking that one man's courage would help dismantle. Ethan Cole's ordinary evening shift at the steel fabrication factory took a harrowing turn when a flicker of blue beneath a dormant laser cutter revealed a trembling 7-year-old girl named Anna hiding from traffickers, her sleeve riding up to expose a permanent barcode tattoo that sent chills through the former Marine's soul and ignited a moral battle between duty and justice. This discovery thrust Ethan into a real-world drama echoing the courageous stands of historical whistleblowers like those who exposed the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire of 1911 in New York, where unsafe working conditions and exploitation of immigrant workers led to 146 deaths, sparking nationwide labor reforms and child protection laws that still influence modern workplace safety standards. Just as those early 20th century activists turned tragedy into systemic change, Ethan's split-second decision to protect Anna instead of ignoring the anomaly dismantled a hidden trafficking operation linked to his own boss, reminding us that ordinary individuals can challenge corruption when guided by conscience. Philosophically, this journey draws from Immanuel Kant's categorical imperative: act only according to principles you would wish to become universal law, underscoring Ethan's refusal to accept hush money or look away, choosing integrity over self-preservation. In today's global context, where the International Labor Organization estimates over 160 million children are in forced labor or trafficking situations, Ethan's story holds urgent modern relevance, teaching English learners advanced descriptive language such as cacophony, a harsh, discordant mixture of sounds like the factory's relentless hum and clank, and the idiom, blood ran cold. Sudden intense fear or shock, to vividly narrate real-life crises while building vocabulary for discussions on human rights and social justice. Vividly, Ethan's weathered face, marked by marine service and years of factory labor, softened with paternal concern as he coaxed Anna from her hiding spot, her messy ponytail and dirt-smudged jeans contrasting the industrial grime around them. Emotionally, his initial shock evolved into fierce protectiveness, memories of his own nieces flashing through his mind as he weighed the risks of confronting his boss and the suited men. Universal wisdom from Stoic philosophy, particularly Marcus Aurelius's reminder to focus on what is within our control, our choices and responses, empowered Ethan to prioritize the child's safety over job security. For English learners, dissecting compound sentences and sensory details, the metallic tang of oil mixed with the acrid scent of welding sparks enhances narrative fluency and empathetic storytelling essential for advocacy or journalism. This chapter illustrates that one observant glance can interrupt cycles of exploitation, urging us to remain vigilant in our daily environments. What hidden flash of blue in your own life or community signals a moment where your courage could protect the vulnerable and spark meaningful change? As Ethan led the frightened Anna through the dangerous factory floor, her whispered fear of the men and the shocking barcode tattoo on her wrist exposed a sinister trafficking network intertwined with factory corruption, forcing him to choose between obedience and moral action in a high-stakes pursuit that tested his military-honed instincts. The barcode, revealed when her blue sweater sleeve rode up, served as a chilling marker used by traffickers to catalog victims, much like the tattooing systems documented in historical accounts of the transatlantic slave trade or the Nazi concentration camps during World War II, where dehumanizing markings stripped individuals of identity and facilitated control, yet ultimately fueled resistance movements that liberated millions. Ethan's emotional arc deepened from confusion to righteous anger as he recalled his Marine days, where attention to detail saved lives, now repurposed to shield Anna from the suited men searching the floor with calculated precision. Philosophically, Aristotle's virtue ethics emphasized courage as the mean between cowardice and recklessness, perfectly captured in Ethan's careful navigation, distracting coworkers, following at a distance, and refusing the boss's bribe of scattered bills, while maintaining composure amid the factory's deafening machinery. Modern relevance shines in ongoing efforts by organizations like the UN's Blue Heart campaign against human trafficking, where factory and industrial settings often serve as fronts for exploitation, highlighting how vigilance in workplaces can prevent tragedies. For English learners, idioms like out of your depth, in a situation too difficult to handle, and advanced terms such as furtively, in a secretive or stealthy manner, equip users to describe ethical dilemmas in essays or debates, fostering critical thinking alongside language mastery. Vivid character moments included Ethan's heart aching at Anna's silence gesture, her wide eyes pleading as she bolted from his grasp initially, only to trust him later when the men closed in. His confrontation with Mr. Garrett at the concealed wall safe revealed stacks of crisp cash, the boss's offer of a cut, exposing complicity in money laundering tied to the trafficking ring. Ethan's rejection, "I don't want your hush money," marked profound emotional growth from loyal employee to whistleblower, embodying universal wisdom from Mahatma Gandhi's principle that the only tyrant I accept in this world is the still small voice within, guiding inner moral compasses over external pressures. English practice benefits from analyzing dialogue and tension-building techniques here, improving conversational skills for real-world advocacy. This chapter teaches that silence in the face of wrongdoing perpetuates harm, while one person's stand can unravel entire networks of injustice. Will you listen to that still small voice the next time you witness something that feels terribly wrong, even if it risks your comfort or security? The tense standoff in the truck parking lot erupted into a daring rescue as Ethan confronted the traffickers, shielding Anna while police sirens approached, ultimately leading to arrests that exposed a larger Russian-linked network and reunited the girl with her worried grandmother, transforming one factory worker's shift into a beacon of hope and justice. As the men lunged and Ethan used military maneuvers to protect the child, dodging blows, throwing one assailant off balance, and directing Anna to safety in a locked truck cab, the chaos mirrored historical rescue operations like the Underground Railroad in 19th century America, where brave conductors risked everything to guide enslaved people to freedom, their courage dismantling a system that treated humans as property. Ethan's adrenaline-fueled actions saved Anna from being loaded into the container truck, his phone call to 911 providing the crucial tip that allowed authorities to apprehend the fleeing boss with a suitcase of cash, linking the factory to money laundering charges. Philosophically, this climax embodied Viktor Frankl's logotherapy, finding meaning through purposeful suffering and choice, as Ethan chose action despite personal peril, turning potential regret into redemption. In contemporary society, stories like this align with real anti-trafficking successes by agencies such as Interpol and national task forces that rely on civilian tips to disrupt operations, underscoring the power of individual awareness in combating modern slavery affecting millions worldwide. For English learners, vocabulary like solar plexus, the pit of the stomach, a vulnerable strike point, and the idiom last-ditch effort, a final, desperate attempt, enrich action narratives. While practicing reported speech, the officer said they had apprehended the suspect, builds accuracy in recounting events for reports or storytelling. Vivid emotional development showed Ethan's relief washing over him as Anna's small hand slipped into his, her whispered, "Thank you," melting years of factory routine into profound purpose. The detective's confirmation of the tattoo as a known trafficking mark validated his instincts. Universal wisdom from the teachings of the Dalai Lama on compassion as the root of happiness resonated as Ethan stayed by Anna's side at the station, prioritizing her reunion over his own exhaustion. English education here connects to reflective journaling on moral dilemmas, enhancing empathy and expressive writing. This chapter reminds us that heroism often arises not from superhuman strength, but from refusing to look away. How will you turn a single moment of discomfort into an act of compassion that could save or uplift someone else? In the aftermath at the police station, Ethan's detailed testimony and Anna's brave account unraveled the trafficking ring's operations, leading to charges against the factory boss for complicity and money laundering while highlighting the resilience of survivors, inspiring a community-wide awakening to vigilance against hidden exploitation in everyday workplaces. As Detective Ramirez explained the network's tactics, targeting vulnerable children like Anna, who was abducted from her grandmother's yard in Spokane, The revelations paralleled historical exposés such as the 1910s muckraking journalism that uncovered child labor abuses in U.S. factories and mines, prompting progressive-era reforms including the Keating-Owen Child Labor Act. Ethan's emotional journey culminated in quiet pride mixed with sorrow for Anna's ordeal, his protective hand never leaving hers as she awaited her grandmother, their shared silence, speaking volumes of trust forged in crisis. Philosophically, this resolution invoked the golden rule across cultures: treat others as you would wish to be treated, embodied in Ethan's unwavering support, reminding us that empathy bridges divides created by trauma and power imbalances. Modern relevance connects directly to today's anti-trafficking hotlines and workplace training programs that encourage reporting suspicious activity, empowering ordinary citizens like factory workers to become first responders against modern slavery. For English learners, advanced structures such as conditional sentences, "If I had ignored the flash of blue, Anna might still be in danger," and idioms like "turning the tide," reversing a situation in one's favor, facilitate nuanced discussions on ethics and social responsibility, improving both spoken fluency and persuasive writing. Vivid moments included Anna's eyes lighting with hope at news of her grandmother's arrival, Ethan's reflection on how a routine shift became life-altering, and the radio crackle confirming the boss's arrest with a cash-filled suitcase. Universal wisdom from Nelson Mandela's emphasis on courage not as the absence of fear but the triumph over it inspired Ethan's steadfastness, encouraging viewers to examine their own capacity for bravery. English practice benefits from summarizing complex plots and analyzing character motivation, skills transferable to academic essays or community storytelling. This chapter affirms that justice, though delayed, prevails when good people act, leaving a legacy of safety for the innocent. What small daily choice will you make today to stand against injustice, knowing it might ripple into protection for the vulnerable? Dawn brought healing and new beginnings as Anna reunited with her grateful grandmother at the station. While Ethan faced media attention and internal factory changes, his act of courage sparking workplace reforms and a personal renewal that proved one person's moral stand can ignite broader societal shifts against trafficking and corruption. The emotional closure saw Anna's small frame enveloped in her grandmother's arms, tears flowing as years of worry dissolved, with Ethan standing witness, his own weariness replaced by fulfillment. Historically, this mirrors post-rescue reintegration efforts after operations like the Allied liberation of Nazi camps or modern survivor support programs by groups like ECPAT International, emphasizing long-term care, counseling, and legal accountability to prevent re-victimization. Philosophically, it reflected Confucian ideals of Rern, benevolence, and social harmony achieved through righteous action, as Ethan's integrity prompted factory audits and anti-trafficking training, fostering a safer environment. In our interconnected world, where awareness campaigns leverage social media to spotlight hidden crimes in supply chains and industries, Ethan's story motivates English learners to master reflective language, phrases like profound sense of purpose or the idiom, pay it forward, repaying kindness by helping others, for sharing inspirational tales that build community and vocabulary simultaneously. Vivid development portrayed Ethan's growth from weary worker to recognized hero, fielding questions with humility while privately vowing continued vigilance, his marine discipline now channeled into mentorship. Universal wisdom from the Bible's Good Samaritan parable reinforced helping strangers without expectation, urging reflection on everyday opportunities for kindness. For English education, this finale encourages creative retellings, debate on ethical leadership, and vocabulary expansion around resilience and justice, enhancing global communication skills. As Ethan clocked out knowing the factory would never be the same, a quiet hope emerged that his courage would inspire others. What legacy of compassion and bravery will your actions leave behind, reminding the world that even in the shadows of ordinary days, light can prevail when one person chooses to act.